What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Alex Pereira training with Jon Jones. Alex Pereira is keenly aware of all the buzz there is about him possibly fighting Jon Jones. After all, Poatan is the one who said he wants to fight for the UFC's heavyweight title, but as it turns out, Pereira is hoping to train with Bones ahead of their respective fights. Pereira has lit up the internet on more than one occasion now by acknowledging he'd like to fight for the UFC's heavyweight crown. But before any of that can happen, both he and Jones have some work to do in terms of defending their respective titles. Well, Pereira was on hand at UFC 306 this weekend, and while talking with Full Send, the light heavyweight champion relayed he hopes to train with the GOAT. Here's some of what the decorated fighter had to say. "I think there's some good time between our fights. His fight is only in November. There's always something coming off a fight, a small injury, so we can get some rest and then train together. A lot of people talk about the super fight, but I think I have to make the most of this guy's experience. He has a ton of experience, but people are talking about him maybe doing only 1 or 2 fights more, and I'm not even at heavyweight yet. I don't know if that's possible, but I want to at least be training with him." And when asked who would be the easier fight, middleweight champion Dricus Du Plessis or Jon Jones, Pereira said this: "Dricus Du Plessis is the easier fight. It's harder to cut the weight, but as I've said when I moved up in weight that I needed 2 or 3 fights without this weight cut for my body to recover. Then I could do the cut again. I've said that after the Yuri Prochazka rematch, and I'm still waiting for an answer. He never gives a straight answer. Everybody knows he's scared." The timing of Pereira's comments was perfect, as Jones was also in attendance for UFC 306, and the two posed for some pictures. And speaking of Jones, as everyone has been expecting would be the case, Dana White finally announced that Bones will indeed fight Stipe Miocic on November 16th at UFC 309 in New York City.
What's up, everybody? Saturday, November 16th, we are back in Madison Square Garden in New York City for UFC 309. In the main event, the undefeated heavyweight champion, the greatest of all time, and the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Jon Jones, faces the former heavyweight champion, Stipe Miocic. Jon Jones is the youngest ever UFC champion. He was a 2-division world champion, has the most title wins, and is looking to beat the greatest heavyweight of all time, Stipe Miocic. Stipe has the record for heavyweight title fight wins and performance bonuses, and has title wins over former heavyweight champions Daniel Cormier, Francis Ngannou, Junior Dos Santos, and Alistair Overeem. 2 of the best dudes in the world facing off in the battle division in combat sports to determine who is the greatest heavyweight.
Here's hoping someone grabs some video footage of any sparring sessions Jones and Pereira have, if they do end up training together. Up next, Robert Whittaker reveals info on Khamzat fight. There's been plenty of confusion recently regarding whether Robert Whittaker and Khamzat Chimaev are fighting in the co-main event for UFC 308 and how many rounds the bout will be. But recently, Bobby Knuckles confirmed the status of the highly anticipated fight. Initially, it was announced that the Chimaev vs. Whittaker bout would be a 5-rounder co-main for the October 26 card. But then, social media posts from the UFC relayed that the heavyweight fight between Ciryl Gane and Alexander Volkov was actually going to be the co-main, prompting plenty of outrage online. Well, while speaking with the MMA Arcade podcast recently, the former middleweight champion confirmed his fight with Chimaev will indeed be a 5-round affair. Yeah, it's a 5-rounder. Don't know why, it's like a co-main, but yeah, it's a 5-rounder. There you have it. Feel better? Up next, Umar Nurmagomedov reacts to Merab Dvalishvili win. Now that Merab Dvalishvili is holding the UFC's bantamweight title, you can expect Umar Nurmagomedov to continue gunning for his title shot. On account of Umar's 8-0 run in the UFC to date and his win over Corey Sandhagen in August, the undefeated fighter is expected to challenge for the belt next. Nurmagomedov was ranked number 2 in the UFC's bantamweight division heading into UFC 306, while Merab was number 1. So while attending the event, the 28-year-old shared out the following message via social media: "I think I'm next. I hope they will not avoid and run. They have to be true champion and don't choose opponents. See you soon, guys." And following Merab's championship victory over Sean O'Malley, which saw him short-circuit Sugar's game with his relentless pressure in wrestling, Umar posted this: "I expected more from Sean. Merab did his job well. I hope he won't avoid the real challenger. In any case, I'm ready." Now, leading into UFC 306, Merab let it be known that he doesn't think Nurmagomedov should be next in line for the title, and following his championship win, he repeated that sentiment. While talking about Nurmagomedov and the post-fight presser, the Georgian star said this:
Umar, yeah, he's okay, but I'm telling you guys, from top 15, he only win 1 fight, and that was Corey Sandhagen. So, and we all see what Aljamian did against Corey Sandhagen, make him sleep in first round. So, I mean, I respect Corey Sandhagen, but
Merab has also gone on record stating he thinks Deiveson Figueiredo should be next in line for the title shot. But given Umar's ranking, his undefeated record, and his relationship to the legend Khabib, it would be shocking if he wasn't next. After all, there's a lot for the UFC to go with there promotion-wise. Now, it'll be interesting to see what comes next for O'Malley. Because of the fact he only defended the title one time, it's unlikely that he'll get the immediate rematch with Merab. But one man who has an idea is Mr. Peter Yan, who shared out this cheeky post following UFC 306. I never considered Sean a real champion because he was gifted decision against me in Abu Dhabi. Rematch season is open, so see you soon. Sounds like a plan, right? If you need a refresher, Yan lost a tightly contested split decision loss to O'Malley in October of 2022. Tom Aspinall offers to be backup for Jon Jones' fight. Now that the UFC has confirmed Jon Jones is going to defend the heavyweight title against Stipe Miocic at UFC 309, Tom Aspinall is raising his hands to be the fight's backup. Aspinall had been actively campaigning to be the next man to challenge Jones. The key argument being that since he's the interim champion, it only makes sense to have him fight Bones. Well, clearly that campaign did not result in the UFC changing their plans, so Aspinall has made it clear he wants to be in New York City as the backup fighter for the November 16th card. The English fighter recently shared this video message.
I, of course, have told the UFC if anybody gets injured or there's any other reason why nobody can make it to that fight, why one of them might pull out, I'm ready to go. If I need to, I'll fight both of them the same night, no problem. Give me my undisputed title, because in my opinion, there should not be two champions in one weight division. I think that is silly. This is not what UFC is about. This is not what MMA is about. There's one guy each weight division, and I believe it's me.
Hard to argue with Aspinall being the alternate for UFC 309, yeah? Alexander Volkanovski fighting for UFC title next. For months now, there's been a lot of talk about what will come next for Alexander Volkanovski, and if we could see the renowned fighter move up to lightweight again. After Volkanovski's reign as the featherweight champion came to an end at the hands of Ilia Topuria, there was a lot of speculation as to whether the star would be tapped for an immediate rematch. But since Max Holloway is now booked to fight Topuria at UFC 308 October 26, it wasn't really clear if Volkanovski would fight in the interim. Well, following Diego Lopez's impressive victory over Brian Ortega at UFC 306, Volk posted this. Obviously, my next fight is for the title, depending on what happens. Are there injuries in the Max and Ilia fight? Who knows what's going to happen? Could there be an interim with someone like Lopez? You never know, so we'll see what happens. Now, the fact Volkanovski is going to get another shot at the belt isn't too surprising, since we're talking about one of the greatest featherweights ever. But Volk's comments about a possible interim belt getting put on the line also prompted some interesting reactions online. Why would there be an interim title fight if we have an actual champion that's about to fight? You want to fight and make money so bad, then fight Lopez, but there's no title on the line. Ilia and Max literally fight next month. Why would there be an interim title? Bro said interim because he knows that's the only way he is sniffing pay-per-view points again. No matter how many times he gets knocked out, the next fight will always be a title fight. Shout out to Dana for treating Volk like a king and keep giving him chances to get KO'd trying to get that belt. Unless Topuria goes out and demolishes Holloway, it would be kind of surprising if the UFC moved forward with a lightweight super fight for him. After all, his next fight will be just his first title defense, and Holloway has repeatedly said he wants to run it back with Volk one more time. So folks likely don't need to worry about an interim belt just yet. UFC updates. With the fourth and final quarter of 2024 right around the corner, the UFC's matchmakers continue to finalize more bouts for the promotion's upcoming schedule. Fresh off his jaw-dropping knockout win on Dana White's Contender Series, Al Zulino is reporting that Navajo Sterling will make his octagon debut against Tuco Tokos. The fight will reportedly be part of the UFC's December 14th card in Tampa. Marcel Dorff has reported that longtime strawweight contender Karolina Kovacevic will take on Denise Gomez at the UFC's November 9th Fight Night card in Las Vegas, Nevada. In addition, Dorff recently shared that Anthony Lionheart Smith will battle fellow light heavyweight contender Dominic Reyes at UFC 310 and not at UFC 309. The confusion apparently arising from an incorrect bout sheet for UFC 309 that was shown following UFC 306. And in addition to the Jones, Miocic, and Oliveira Chandler bouts that were already expected for UFC 309 in New York City, Dana White has confirmed, as reported here earlier in the week, that Paul Craig and Bo Nickel will throw down at the November 16th card.
Undefeated prospect Bo Nickel faces the very experienced Paul Bear Jew Craig. Nickel has all 6 wins by finish, 5 coming in the very first round. He will look to prove himself against his toughest match up to date against Paul Craig, who has wins by finish over former champions Shogun Rua and Jamal Hill and current number 2 ranked light heavyweight Magomed Ankalaev. Bo Nickel asked for a challenge, and he's getting it with this opponent. This is going to be an incredible card, and we will be announcing more fights over the next several weeks.
Are you excited about the UFC 309 lineup so far? Okay, up next, Aljamian Sterling breaks silence on confrontation. Aljamian Sterling is no longer competing in the bantamweight division, but it seems like his long-standing beef with Sean O'Malley is alive and well. Or at a minimum, he continues to feud with Sugar's fans and or buddies. What's it all mean? Well, at UFC 306 this weekend in Vegas, video surfaced of Sterling exchanging heated words with some people as he entered the Sphere. It was initially reported that had gotten into it with O'Malley fans. Aljamian Sterling got into a confrontation with Sean O'Malley fans. But following that initial report, the former bantamweight champion provided his own take on what went down. Aljamian negative, confrontation with O'Malley's two best friends being disrespectful while Merab was trying to take pictures with the fans. I fixed the caption for you. Yeah, given all the things that have been said between O'Malley's team and the Aljo Merab camp in the last year or so, chances are this isn't the last incident we hear about. Dricus Du Plessis fires back at Alex Pereira after Alex called him a clown and said he's an easier fight than John Jones. Dricus wrote on Twitter and said, "A scared clown? How dare you? Now that's taking it too far. I've already said I'm in to fight either you or Sean Strickland. What more do you want? Or should I tag your translator?" Henry Cejudo called out Sean O'Malley following his loss to Merab. Here's what he had to say.
If Sean O'Malley is willing and wants to fight this troll who's a true king of Arizona, then here I am. But if not, Kush, I'm making my way back down to 125 pounds, man, because I'm not gonna waste my time with the freaking. But if he wants to do it, I would love to do it. Dana White, let's make that fight happen. And I just feel like there's too much animosity, there's too much history between us. But more likely, he's probably gonna pick a Jan again, because he knows that Jan's gonna strike, or he's gonna pick a guy like maybe Corey Sandhagen. So I would be the least guy that he would want to fight, because a healthy Triple C will murder him even worse than what Merab did to him.
Corey Sandhagen also called out O'Malley after his loss, writing on Instagram saying, "Watching Merab win the title, realizing you get Sandman versus Sugar because of it. Congrats, Merab, you earned it, man. O'Malley, time to give the people what they want. I don't promise to not kiss you." Top comments. Merab looked like he could go another 5 rounds. His cardio is unmatched. How is Dricus scared? He said he'd fight Pereira after the Strickland fight at 205. Sean and Tim running their mouths finally worked against them. Congratulations, Merab. Merab showing O'Malley what would happen if they were cellmates.